Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to the episode of my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, episode number 7 today for the big one, the Monaco Grand Prix, the jewel in the Formula 1 calendar, the one that we're always anticipating at the very start of a new game and a new career mode. And to start off the episode though, we've got some concerning messages here on the right hand side. We've got some worn components, that's to be expected as we are on the edge of the first column of engine components being worn out. We're kind of moving forward to the next column along, but we've apparently got insufficient funds for our driver renewal. So this is to do with Mick Schumacher. He's got a contract renewal of 2 million, so I think that's actually gone up since we signed him. So you can see he has actually improved, and his value and acclaim has improved. So just kind of showing how important acclaim level is for not only the drivers, but obviously the team. Then it moves you up in terms of actual money value. So we technically can't afford to renew him right now. It doesn't actually matter just yet, but when we get to July in the calendar, that's when his contract's up. We only had him for a 6-month contract, so there's going to be a debate of whether we keep Mick Schumacher, do we change him around? If we look at the driver market, I'm not going to lie, there's a big argument to switching away from Schumacher and potentially getting a better bang for a buck driver. That's why I chose Schumacher at the very start. It seemed like the best value for money in terms of a driver I could pick, but now looking at it, we've kind of got two different options. We could pay the same 2 million and get Nick de Vries, and he's much higher rated, 68 rated compared to Schumacher's 61 or 60. Or we've got one point lower, 67. I think this is the real no-brainer value, but obviously I'm going to get you guys to kind of tell me about that. But we've got Jack Aitken, 67 rated, and he's 1.5 million. Both free agents, so we could pick them up. So I'm going to leave a straw poll in the comments below and the description, and I want you guys to vote on whether we keep Mick Schumacher, go for Nick de Vries, or go for Jack Aitken. So like I said, throughout this series, I want, when I can, I want to give you guys the vote as my board of directors in this My Team career mode of decisions we make. So let me know, get voting on that, and we'll see how that vote comes up to. But we're going to look to do our activities. Obviously, we've got a nice chunky 8 days to do things before the Monaco Grand Prix. So we've got a nice mixture of things, and because we've got 8 days, and all of these, you can see they're 2-day events or 1-day events, we can fit in quite a fair bit. So we're going to go straight away for boosting our team acclaim by doing a marketing strategy convention, so that'll boost it by 200, so that's a pretty decent amount. Then we're going to go for the 1-day driver promotion. That boosts the driver acclaim, so again, that will feed into improving the overall acclaim as well, so that's always a positive. And then we'll just go for the 2 kind of 3 and 2-day chassis improvements. And the good thing about these 2 chassis improvement days are that they don't kind of take away from any of the other departments. You can see on the bottom left, it's only positive for the chassis. We have to spend a little bit of money for the last event there, for the chassis team building, but neither of these 2 events take away morale from the other kind of departments, which is always my kind of worry, that if you focus on one department too much, the morale of others goes down, and you want to generally keep everything as high as we can, especially in my team where everything matters in terms of the kind of the build time, the failure, and whatnot. So we're going to go through the week and advance through and collect some weekly resources, and also see that final aero upgrade that's going to come in. So we finally got that minor front aero, so you can see we've got a nice balance going on now on the R&D tree. Now, where we upgrade next, I'm going to go ahead and spend some R&D points right now, straight away. I did think about maybe the engine side, but at the same time, we've got a drag reduction update is the next one on our aero, so that will in hand also improve the straight line speed. So we can kind of almost kill 2 birds with 1 stone in a way. So go for the drag reduction, a minor upgrade that'll come in for the next episode, hopefully. But I'm going to pause it there then in terms of R&D, and this is where I ask you guys for a second time now to vote on things we need to do, because by the time we advance through to the end of the week, just before the Monaco Grand Prix, we do have over $2 million to spend on HQ upgrades. So for next episode, I want you guys to vote on which HQ we upgrade. So far, of course, we've got the 4 natural upgrades we had at the very start of the career mode on the engine side. We've done 1 upgrade each on the aero and chassis department, nothing on durability yet, and we've done 1 on marketing as well. But I'm just going to limit the vote to just the 3 performance HQs, so aero, chassis, and powertrain. powertrain, because I think for the marketing, we have to build up a lot of money, and we'll do that probably towards the kind of second third of the season. So right now, this might be the kind of final HQ upgrade we do before we start saving money for, one, our new teammates, and then also, two, I do really want to get that 5 million upgrade done on the marketing side of things, because I think personally for me, it's going to be a real aid long term just to have a good marketing department, because we'll just start being able to make way more money and get better sponsors down the line, which obviously is just going to help out the performance in the long run. So a vote on the aero, chassis or powertrain. Which one should we upgrade? Remember, the engine side we've already done 4, but if you guys want me to start delving into that, then just let me know with the vote. Like I said, I want to get you guys involved as much as I can. So we've already got the teammate vote, we've got the vote here on the HQ upgrades, and potentially maybe more votes obviously in the future as they come along. But for now, these are the first kind of 2 major votes that we've got so far in this series to give you guys, and by the time we get to the next episode, I'll just tally the votes and take the result as it is as I start recording that one, and we'll go forward from there. So finally, the last bit of admin to do before we head on towards the Monaco GP race weekend is to show off this brand new one-off livery that I'm going to be running for today's Monaco Grand Prix. Obviously, Monaco is a very special race in history. Some teams have ran special liveries, or drivers have ran special helmets, so I thought, since this is my team and I can actually change the livery like this in the game for the very first time, let's run a special livery for a race like Monaco, and maybe down the line we run a special one for the British Grand Prix, seeing as I'm from Britain. Obviously, it's my home GP, the team's home GP, so that'll be quite nice as well. So it'd be good to see your guys' reaction to this, so let me know in the comments if you do want to see me run a one-off livery for the British Grand Prix. But today, we've got this, well, very, very out there kind of galaxy, but in this kind of colours of our team, you know, the neon green and neon yellow splashes of galaxy kind of sickering on top of kind of a black base of this car. So a one-off, very jazzy Monaco Grand Prix livery. Hopefully you guys like that touch, but let's go forward then to the Monaco GP weekend. Always exciting. Obviously, it's a very unique circuit, but at the same time, also wary that it could be a difficult race weekend. Obviously, the driver can make a massive difference around this circuit, but at the end of the day, you do still need a car that can, you know, help you make that difference in the corner. So in terms of setup, we're going to probably stick on the max wings we can. We're talking 11-11 on the front and rear. Just try and get as much downforce and grip as we can through the corners. It may compromise us a little bit on the straights, but I mean, this is one of the circuits where I'd probably be the least concerned about that compromise. For example, next race at Baku, that will be a real issue of compromising downforce over straight line speed. But here we are then in Q1 with our very snazzy one-off livery. I must say, I actually low-key really dig it. Like, it is a lovely looking livery. I wouldn't personally have it for every single race. Like I said, I think this is going to be a one-off thing for Monaco. It'd be quite nice every single Monaco Grand Prix and British Grand Prix if we do like one-off little liveries that are different ones. So for this one, I like it, but obviously it is also quite out there, and so it's just a nice little touch for this race weekend to make it feel a little bit more special. So our first flying lap then in Q1 was alright. It was okay. We were just ahead of Schumacher, and he did keep up with us the entire lap, so I was kind of worried we were going to be slower than him at the start, but we actually set a faster lap time than him, so that was a little bit peculiar for me. But as we go on through this session, we've got about 7 minutes to go, and I'm thinking about going out now. At the time, I didn't exactly realise how bad my timing was, but essentially this is my only lap left, because by the time I come back to the pit lane, I probably won't have enough time left to go out for a third run. So this is going to be it. So I didn't really leave myself much room to breathe here, but that was just my bad at the time. I didn't realise the calculations of how long I had to leave myself to do 2 more runs. And at the moment, I'm not gaining that much time, only about a 10th, although to be fair, there were about 4 cars ahead of me that were only a 10th ahead of me. So this 10th or even half a 10th could make a difference as we come through DRS Open across the line, and it literally is half a 10th gain, but that does jump us up from P17 where we were at that stage of qualifying up into P15 as it stands right now. But of course, people are still going to set their times. We've got just over 1 minute or just under 2 minutes to go in this session, and we're still in P15 to be fair, but everyone else is on their lap, and rather annoyingly, I didn't time this very well, and so I don't have another lap to go. You've got the likes of Lando Norris below me, yet to set a time, so they're definitely going to go faster. And so here we are by the end of Q1. Unfortunately, it is going to be a little bit lower, and it's actually quite a lot lower than I thought it would be. P19 then, and Schumacher in P21. I don't really think that's where the car is fully. I think I could have gone faster. Not too sure about Schumacher. I feel like we could have got through into Q2, to be fair, if we had a third run. And again, like I said, things are very close. You know, you've got the likes of Grosjean, Gasly, Magnussen all up there. All cars that I think we should be fighting on paper, and also in reality, we are fighting them. We did fight them last episode, for example, and such. So yeah, one of the most important qualifyings of the entire year. I feel like I've not done as well as I could have done for sure, but the race is a different ball game. There might be some strategy difference involved, and I also think there's also some forecast for rain for the race, so that's maybe going to be quite interesting. So let's go to the grid, not get too disheartened by this, and try and have some fun out there on Sunday.
Formula One returns to Monte Carlo once again today, home to the world-famous Monte Carlo Casino, first opened in 1863. And, of course, a certain road race, first held here in 1929. There's no greater an occasion, no more valuable a win than the Monaco Grand Prix. We're on the French Riviera once more this weekend at the 2-mile-long Circuit de Monaco. The cars climb around 40 metres up through Beau Rivage, onto the casino, and then descending down towards the harbour through Sector 2. It's a very short run from pole position to the first of the 19 corners here, 7 to the left and 11 to the right. There's one single DRS zone as well, so don't expect that to make overtaking any easier today. Anthony Davidson also joins me in the commentary box today. Let me ask you about Racing Point. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Sebastian Vettel, and Albon, Perez, Ricciardo, Stroll, and Carlos Sainz, Kvyat, Norris, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Ocon, Raikkonen, Grosjean, Pierre Gasly, and the owner-driver, Russell, Schumacher, Magnussen, and Nicholas Latifi. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
So like I was saying earlier, race strategy will potentially be quite important around Monaco. Track position is key. Traffic is going to be a nightmare, as it always is. And every F1 game for the last 3 years, the AI have improved so much that it gets harder and harder to overtake them around this circuit. So it's either a one-stop or a two-stop. And as much as, you know, the two-stop has been the more favoured strategy for us so far this season, with the rain also coming, but also just because track position is so important, we'll go for the one-stop. We'll go for the medium to the hard tyres. And crucially, though, I think there's maybe half a chance, if the rain comes early enough, maybe we could go straight onto intermediates, or potentially we switch it up and on the fly we go onto a set of soft tyres for just a few laps, banzai it, and then go onto those intos. But the rain is there, the icon's there, it's just at the very end, so there is also a chance it just doesn't come and there's not enough rain to warrant all of us going onto intos. So it's really all up in the air. It's going to make things very exciting for the end of the race, but I'm sure the start will be equally so. The first time we're going to do Monaco on this game in our own My Team career mode car, and we've got some making up to do, because I think this car can definitely go a little bit quicker than it did for myself and Schumacher yesterday on Saturday. We've been elevated one position thanks to a grid penalty for Magnussen, so here we go from P18 on the grid to 5 red lights. The Monaco Grand Prix, the duel in the Formula 1 calendar is underway, and it's a good start compared to Pierre Gasly on the right-hand side, but we're on the left, boxed in somewhat, but then also a pocket of air just opens up there on the left-hand side, some great space to work with, and so on the exit, battling Raikkonen, little bit iffy on the rear end. Kimi goes and re-overtakes us, even though we used some ERS. Unfortunately, the rear end just snapped out way too much, so we go back down the order, but a decent enough start, I guess. I kind of almost got scared we're going to get boxed in, but no, we're able to make a move around the outside, and now we dive it down the inside of Mirabeau and make a very cheeky re-overtaking pass on Kimi. Then it's a bit of a traffic jam as two McLarens are side by side there. You can see further up the road, Sainz and Norris trying to go side by side, and also behind me, I think the two Haas cars are trying to go side by side as well, so everyone holding each other up, and it really is a bit of a log jam in the hairpin, as I think it's the Haas v the Alfa Romeo right behind me of Raikkonen v Grosjean, as we now close up to Antonio Giovinazzi on the end of lap number 2, and already getting frustrated, having a little look to the inside last corner, but can't quite make it, and so the classic Monaco frustration already comes in for us. But we're trying to line up of a pass now. Lap number 3, 2 green sectors in the first and second sector. Going quick through swimming pool. Nice exit. And we're going to make the lunge down the inside with ERS also deploying. And we've made the very infamous Raskas dive bomb. And a lovely pass on the inside of the Italian. And we're up the order into P13, I think that is then, ahead of both Alfa Romeos. And so we're doing a decent job to be ahead of most of our rivals. Just the likes of Kvyat up the road in the Alpha Tauri. And also, to be fair, Ocon here ahead of us in the Renault. Not looking too quick, actually. The Renaults have been very decent so far this season. We haven't really been fighting them that much. Remember at Bahrain, it was the likes of the Renault and McLaren that, took away what could have been our first points so early on in the season. So, kind of surprising to see Ocon struggling. Maybe just him as a driver, AI is not up to scratch here. So, looking susceptible. So, can we just try and pressurize him and find that space? That's the big question always of, can we find the space to do it? Either at Raskas or the first corner or whatever. It's just so difficult. Like I mentioned, the last 3 F1 games, every game, it's gotten harder and harder to do that. Like, you need to really calculate the move, get the amount of ERS you're deploying right, the fuel mixture, get the line just pin perfect. Otherwise, you will just be pushed into the barrier because the AI just that much more aggressive on this year's game as they have been on the previous ones. So we're looking and feeling quite punchy on lap number 7 as we enter the last sector. Real good line through swimming pool, getting a lot of time on Ocon into Raskas. Can't make a lunge on the inside, but on the outside, Ocon hits the wall a little bit, leaves us some room. We go round the outside, but Ocon squeezes us right to the curb and wall, and we almost got pinched out straight into a crash there. And now we're being attacked by both Alfa Romeos on either side. Oh, they pinched us, and oh, Giovinazzi smashed Raikkonen into the wall. What an incident there! Oh my word, 3 wide into turn 1. We just backed out that completely because we got, well, nearly completely just smashed into the wall by Ocon, which was quite rude, and that really slowed us up. And then look at this, 3 wide, Raikkonen and Giovinazzi either side of me. But then what on earth was going on here? Giovinazzi just went for a kamikaze dive that he didn't, well, need to really make. And he just kept going, didn't slow it down, and just smashed his own teammate into the wall there. That's an onboard from Gio. Let's have a look at what it looked like from Raikkonen's perspective. So, obviously, we went 3 wide here. He's on the long way round. Now, I backed up, and then, yeah, out of nowhere, you can just see Giovinazzi just coming through and almost T-boning his own teammate. So, Kimi's left looking backwards at turn 1. And for us, just replaying back on our own onboard, really clever stuff from us to quickly think just to back out of that, brake a little bit earlier, and then we just had a nice little nip to the inside and got both the positions back. So some thinking on our feet for sure, and some very close calls there, but that's what happens when you race around a street circuit. Things get very, very fine, especially when you're getting squeezed out by other drivers. And speaking about that, we're now looking to maybe try and get some revenge on Ocon and trying to get swiftly past him if we can. He was obviously completely entitled to squeeze me out on that previous incident because he had the inside line, but I didn't appreciate it for sure. So now looking to try and get past him, and here catching him napping. It's a very late lunge, bit of contact made, but eventually make it through. And I think Ocon didn't actually make any contact with the wall. No, he didn't, because otherwise we definitely would have felt it or heard about it with the kind of a warning sign there. So in the end, actually a pretty clean overtake on Ocon, as kind of clean overtakes go at Monaco turn 1. And it was a very late one. I didn't really expect to actually overtake him, but as we closed up, I had to make a decision of either hitting him on his rear end or just spewing out to the inside and making a bit of a kamikaze dive. So just made it work, really. And so we are now up into P13, looking at the back now. Danica Fiat, Alpha Tauri, of course, one of the cars that I feel we should be fighting. We're looking to try and keep them at bay, sort of, in the championship. They're ahead of us right now, but looking to keep up with them. But they just keep scoring consistent points, to be fair to them. It's rather annoying, actually. Gasly and Kvyat, both of them, just being consistently either getting some really good P7s or 8s, or just constantly there in the top 10. So we've got to try our utmost best to keep on the pressure and try and overtake them on track when we can. And right now you've seen there lap number 10 rapidly closing up to Kvyat, because ahead of him is Carlo Sainz. He's on the soft tyres and he's feeling the tyre wear and he's holding up the rush in here, so we've got a good chance to maybe make a move. And just like with Ocon, he's very slow. We rotate the car beautifully, and this time, second time lucky, through the last corner, Kvyat gives us all the room and respect in the world. GG's to him, and it's a really, really satisfying overtake there. The way we rotated the car and just got an extra bit of rotation rotation round Raskas as Kvyat got pinched into the wall himself was really sublime there. So satisfying then to get it done, and obviously major kudos that he left us the room, unlike Ocon there, but I think we're a little bit further alongside him, to be fair, than we were against Esteban. But now Sainz has come in just then on lap number 12, so now you're seeing the kind of first stops made for people on the soft tyres as the tyre wear starts to kick in, and you can see, look at that, whoa, major issue for Stroll on the rear end. He actually completely steps out there. That's the fantastic thing on this year's F1 2020 game. Finally, the AI are making tyre wear mistakes as we have a very bold lunge at Stroll. Thought better of it though and just about backed out of that, but I wanted to try and overtake him because he was so poor on the rear end, but eventually comes in anyway. No surprise for his first pit stop because his tyres were completely gone. But yeah, it's really great to see the AI now finally are making mistakes with tyre wear, and you can see that visually that they're actually having to get the rear end step down, control the car. Really good to see. But yeah, on lap 13 we're up into P4 now because everyone who's started on the soft tyres and making a 2-stop I think work has made their pit stop. The guys ahead of us, the 3 cars, I think the 2 Ferraris and I think one of the car that I can't really tell who it is right now, they all started on the medium. So the Ferraris might actually have a very good strategy here. They had a very torrid time at Spain with a double no points finish for them last time at Catalonia, so this could be a big win for them if they can make that 1-stop work. I assume they're trying a 1-stop because they started on the medium tyres, but now it's a case of just trying to go as long as we can and holding out this track position. And like I said, there's this question mark of when the rain's going to come. When do we make a pit stop for the slick tyres? Maybe do we try a interesting pit stop for the soft tyres maybe and go for a kind of a banzai few laps and then pit on when the rain starts falling? Will the rain come down at all? That's the question mark here as we go on through this second stint. The AlphaTauri Dan Kvyat still behind me as well, so we're both kind of doing this kind of prolonging stint at the moment, but I believe he is obviously scheduled for a definite, you know, stop for the dry tyres. The question will be, what can we do? You know, I think the rain is coming because you can see it's a lot more overcast. Behind Kvyat is the Renault of Ocon, and then the 2 Mercedes cars who've hit from the lead of the Grand Prix. Then the 2 Mercs, I believe they're 1-2, and also the likes of Verstappen and Albon, respectively behind an Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauri there. So all the top guys, barring Ferrari, have made an early stop off the soft tyres, I think, and now they've got an issue of trying to pass us all. So here we are, lap 18 on to 19 then, 20 laps to go, and as I said, I think the rain is on its way because it's getting way more overcast. But I also want to know, very interesting, as it got more overcast, you can see here, as we go on the start of this lap, you'll notice the floodlights. There's some like lighting on, because of course we know in this game you can do Monaco at night in Grand Prix mode, but they have to naturally leave the floodlights on anyway for the normal career mode, you know, Monaco running. But because the track's getting so dark, I think the game recognizes it's getting too dark for there to be, there's not enough natural light, so it turns on the floodlights. So through here especially, like, you know, the way the light's on there on the left-hand side, it's almost got like this nice Monaco night vibe, like we're driving into the late afternoon and evening at Monaco, and we're gonna have like a half kind of Monaco night race, as it were. So really cool vibe. Like, look at this on the pit straight as the pit stop window opens for us on lap 20. Honestly, it feels like we're at Monaco at night in a way, just minus the super pitch black sky. Instead, we just got a grey sky as the clouds come over and the rain is potentially on its way. As I mentioned just before, the pit window did open, you would have seen on the heads-up display, so technically I should be coming in for my set of hard tyres. But the thing is, now that the clouds are really coming over, I'm adamant the rain is coming. There will be enough rain to swap over to Inters, so why don't we just try and just wing it and just go to the Inters period? And so that's what you're seeing right here. Hamilton attacking us around the outside, but we are late on the brakes as ever, down to first gear to get the car turned in and keep it going. Kvyat's made his pit stop now. He made it on lap 21, or I think on that lap 20 when my pit window opened. We're going to continue on. We're the only car in this Grand Prix yet to pit at least once. Vettel and Leclerc ahead of us have both pit for a set of hard tyres. They're doing the 1-stop that I should have been on. But of course, they're way ahead of us because obviously they're just in a Ferrari car. So they're 1-2 right now. I'm yet to pit a lap in P3 here, and then everyone behind me has pit at least once, or maybe even twice if they're doing a 2-stop now. And Hamilton, you can see, trying his best to go around the outside, but I am just making my car as wide as possible, doing the max I can. And here you can see asking Jeff on the heads-up display for a weather report, because I was a little bit worried at this stage, because the Mercs were attacking me so much, and I was like praying, where is the rain? I need confirmation the rain is coming. So Jeff did say the rain is on its way in a few minutes. I just need to hold out that little bit longer, and we'll make it. But into lap 23, we had a bit of a hit on the 4C out there, and Hamilton has just come in. Now, I looked behind me at Raskas, and he was right up behind me, and I felt like a little hit on the wheel, on my 4-speed, that is. And this is what happened. Hamilton into Raskas. I don't know what he's doing, because I've just taken that, you know, normally as I would, and he's tried to, like, dive bomb me as if I'm not actually there. So Hamilton has self-inflicted himself. He's now had to make an extra pit stop on top of the pit stop he may make for intermediate. So don't know what's going on for him and his AI. So he's absolutely stuffed it up. So now it's Bottas behind me and Verstappen behind as well. So still two equally very quick drivers that I'm having to try and hold back behind me. And the attacks just keep coming, basically. Especially through the tunnel, it would seem. The AI basically, I think, use a lot of their ERS through this one bit of the track, I think, at Monaco, because they're so rapid around here. I know I'm not using much ERS, and I'm in standard mixture, but still, you can see how often they're trying it. And just like in real life, when it was Hamilton versus Verstappen, we're just doing as much as we can to brake very, very late and just keep it ahead and get the track position to obviously illegally keep us ahead on the circuit. But now, lap 25 into the tunnel, massive tank sapper here through the tunnel using ERS, but Bottas going for the big lunge round the outside, but we just can't get the thing slowed down. Lock up, first gear, and we're so understeery through that entire section, because now only am I now noticing the rain's already coming down. For some reason, it wasn't really that visible to me, but now on the chassis, on the halo, you can see the droplets spewing off the car, and it's very much time for intermediates. I'm so lucky I didn't get a front wing damage on that wall there through swimming pool. I checked my heads-up display on the bottom right there, because I was so worried about nicking my front wing, but no, we haven't. But we come in for intermediates. So we've done it. We've done the quote-unquote impossible here, and we've gone all the way on mediums, and we're going to go straight on to intermediates, and we haven't had to make a single dry pit stop in this Grand Prix. So in theory, we should still come back out in P3 eventually. Some people have continued on for one more lap here, so we're not going to come out in P3, but by the time we come round the lap, we should be in P3. We're P6 right now. You can see Sainz, Scroll, they've continued on. Schumacher's in behind me. But as it stands then, me, Bottas, Verstappen, P6, 7 and 8. But by the time we come round then, lap 26 onto lap 27, if everything's gone to plan, we should be in P3 of this Grand Prix. And that will be a legit P3, as we're all now going to the end of this Grand Prix. I think the rain's staying with us till the end here. So we've got, what's that? You know, we've got 8 laps to go in this Grand Prix, and they're going to be wet ones. Monaco, this is the first time, it just had to be the first time I'm going to drive this car, our own, you know, custom car in my team career mode, in the wet. Just had to be at Monaco. One of the most difficult places, I think, to drive a car in the wet. So, a real challenge for us, and it is going to be a challenge. You know, this isn't going to be a walk in the park of keeping the cars behind us, because they are going to attack us, and the rear end's going to step out so much on this car, because it just doesn't have the downforce compared to everyone else. So here we are one lap later then, lap 28, and you can see we very much are holding up Bottas and Verstappen as best we can, but through the tunnel, the rear end starts squirming, and it squirms some more on the dip. That little subtle dip in the tunnel really upsets the rear, and Bottas is able to sail it around the outside, make some contact with us, gets the elbows out. He's got a bit of an issue on traction though. We're actually jockeying for position with the Mercedes car on the exit. Try down the inside, doesn't work though. Bottas squirming still. He's even having some issues around Monaco in the wet, but he gets the job done, and he's up into P3, and that's it. We can't get it back. You know, there's no hope of recatching him and passing him. The only thing is we have to keep the car behind, but we couldn't do that at that time. When I basically used ERS through the tunnel to try and counteract the fact that we were losing some time to him on the rear end entering the tunnel. But having used the ERS at the very worst moment there, I think it was as there's a little dip, subtle dip in the tunnel, and as we hit that, I was deploying ERS literally at that point, and it just made the rear end step completely out. and that was able, and it just allowed Bottas to really get a great run and sail it around very nicely, I must say, around the outside, but very frustrating. So the podium dream is dead. I mean, to be fair, I didn't really ever think we were going to get a podium here, but the podium dream we had for 2 laps there is dead, and now we have to continue on fighting and trying our best to just keep this car out the wall, to be honest, and I literally mean that on lap 29 as we catch the car, and now we've got Verstappen down our inside out. Raskas there, he's fully alongside us. We get good enough exit, though, to maintain the track position and maintain the P4 for now, but we were inches away from death. We were inches away from absolutely ruining our entire Grand Prix. Look at this replay here. Full opposite lock. Little lock up on the front left. And we are literally inches away from that left-hand side, smashing into that wall. And then Verstappen came down our inside, and we went side by side with him and just was able to keep that through. Apologies for the recording, me a little bit laggy there for some reason on the replay camera. But yeah, very, very fine margins. And again, having issues on the rear end. It steps out again, not learning the lesson from previous times with Bottas. And again, like with Bottas, Verstappen tries to go around the outside. We have the track position there, though, as we broke late enough. But we're just not learning from our mistakes. Obviously, in hindsight now, commentating this, I can tell you I should not have been using ERS, but through this entire section, I just kept on wanting to use it because we're so slow. And here, we just hit a wall of understeer there through the right, and Verstappen's overtaken us in the tunnel now, so it's all coming undone a little bit. The racing points now down our inside there. We go side by side with Sergio Perez, and we just about squeeze him out there, so now we've got to fight Perez and Ricciardo. Now, those 2 cars, I should hope that we can keep them at bay. So Verstappen's overtaken us, fair play. I thought it was a matter of when, not if he would overtake us, and he got us done in a bit of an embarrassing way, to be fair. Easily done in the middle of the tunnel after so much understeer there, but I mean, it was going to happen at some point. But you can see how much we're struggling in this car, but we should be able to keep this ahead of Perez. Like, again, not learning from the mistakes of previously there. Getting the rear end snapped out in the tunnel. Perez attacks us again, though. Use that same line. Squeeze him out. A bit of drifting through that exit. And now Perez and Ricciardo are side by side. But a nice little drift and gymkhana through there to keep this through. And eventually, we will survive the Monaco Grand Prix. And we will come home through on lap 39. 39 very long laps, I must say, and it's going to be P5, our best position yet in this season. A whole lot of points and a fantastic race around the Principality. Really, really satisfying Grand Prix. A really genius strategy, I must say, to stretch the mediums, go straight into the intermediates. Then obviously just had to struggle through, do the best job we could, and the best job meant P5. So I'll take it. We got beaten by the top cars, and that was it. Driver of the day, very much take that.
Here's our winner, pulling their Ferrari into Parc Fermé. What a fantastic race it was. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Ferrari are at it again, an excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
So Sebastian Vettel won the Monaco Grand Prix. It was a 1-2 for Ferrari. Madness for them. They obviously did a madness strategy. You know, they were the clever ones doing a one-stop initially compared to everyone else. And then obviously they just maintained that track position the entire time. I guess they kind of deserved it in a way because obviously they had a double point scoring finish last time out. So it kind of goes hand in hand as a nice fine balance for the championship, I guess. But there we are. P5. Very good stuff. Up into P11 in the Drivers' Championship with those points, but in the constructors, the important thing there is obviously for us, we move up into P8, back ahead of Alfa Romeo, still not ahead of AlphaTauri. They're still 2 points ahead of us. So you can see what I hope you guys can see my frustration is. We keep on improving, we keep on doing much better here and there, but every time we do, AlphaTauri is still picking up points, and they're so damn consistent that they're still ahead of us in P7. So honestly, I think we are locked in already to a battle. We are going toe-to-toe with AlphaTauri this entire season. That's the goal, I think, to get AlphaTauri, beat them, beat the rest of the guys behind us, Haas, Alfa Romeo, Williams. That's the goal, because AlphaTauri, they're so consistent, they're just always there, and I feel like it's going to just be like this the entire season, which is a great thing. It's going to be a really nice battle, nice dynamic to have this real good rivalry with a lower car down the order, but it's frustrating as well, you know, getting a P5 and then still not making much move up the order in the championship. But at the end of this episode, then we get both bonuses on the sponsors for Atlantic and DSP Optics. 6, so another great bit of money coming in there. And so we're now up to over $3 million on the budget. So like I said, get voting, guys, in the comments or the description, the straw poll, for what we should invest in on the HQ, the aero, chassis, or powertrain, and also the vote on our teammate down the line in a few episodes' time once we get to July in the calendar. But that has been a really fantastic Monaco Grand Prix, P5, highest position so far in the season, and it was a really fitting race for a very snazzy one-off livery, I think. So guys, if you did enjoy it, hit the like button, let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I've been aarava. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.